Advent is a season of waiting in joyful hope for the coming of our Saviour, Jesus Christ. Waiting. How does that word meet you? "I'm waiting," the head teacher asks when demanding an explanation for some bad behaviour, fingers drumming on the table. The other week I went to Salisbury to speak at a conference, just for the day. The sessions finished at 5 p.m. I'd imagined beginning my journey home with a 5:45 to London, changing at Basingstoke. But I wondered whether I might be in time to get the direct train at 5:20. I jogged through the rain and puddles and made it by 2 minutes. Nearing London, I considered my options. I could get the slow stopping train from Waterloo to Canterbury, but slow was the word, and it wasn't due for some time. Could I possibly make it by tube to St Pancras and pick up the fast service? It would be tight. Tight it was. More desperate running past the ticket barrier onto the train, just in time, pleased with myself. Back in Canterbury, almost an hour and a half earlier than I had imagined, and all that stood between me and being home in Blean was a bus ride. I hurried to the stop. Quite a crowd there. There must be a bus due soon. I peered with everyone else towards the corner where the bus would appear from. Time passed. 10 minutes. 20 minutes. Half an hour. Around me, people peering at their mobiles to see if they could pick up what was happening on the app. 40 minutes. Now I was really looking at that corner where the bus wasn't appearing from. Rising frustration, competing with hope every time headlights appeared. 50 minutes. 2 students looking at the mobile app discovered the issue. The buses were being diverted around the ring road. No bus was going to arrive that evening at our stop. So I set out to walk back home. At least then I'd be in control, and I walked fast, pounding out on the pavement the injustice of it all. Waiting is that awkward gap when we are no longer in control. True, there are things we can do, like waiting at the right bus stop, but we are dependent on the other, and the other isn't always there to do our bidding. Waiting also cuts across the fast world we live in, where time can't be wasted and something else is on the way to grab our attention. Not many of us like to be in a queue. Internet providers promise ever faster speeds. Waiting almost feels like an anomaly in our present age. Useless, wasteful, frustrating, inefficient, disempowering. What then is the point of Advent waiting? Our time has turned it into a countdown. Christmas is coming. There are gifts to buy. 25 days to go. Waiting turns into frenetic activity. Move faster, do more. Time is running short. Waiting is more than this, has more to offer than this. Waiting is an expression of relationship. The halting of our desire to control, grab, or manipulate, so as to make a respectful, humble space for the other. A good listener knows she must wait, not fill in the gaps. Allow silences that in their time give birth to words. Waiting is the art of attention. The one willing to wait with attention provides a rare place of shelter. Prayer is a form of waiting, not our filling the space with words, but the holding of our attention towards God. An open door allows the other to come in. Empty, open hands can be taken by the other. Relationship deepens. Transformation takes place. Waiting has the capacity to steady our focus and sharpen our attention. Even in the impatience of waiting for a bus, my eyes became fixed on the corner where the headlights would first appear. Waiting deepens longing, waiting for what will only come in its time. Have you ever spent a sleepless night waiting for the morning to come? The hours are long, the gift of light more intensely welcomed when it arrives. As the psalmist says, I wait for the Lord, my soul waits, and in his word I hope. My soul waits for the Lord, more than those who watch for the morning, more than those who watch for the morning. Through Advent, we follow the longings of generations of mothers and fathers as they wait for the arrival of their child. For Mary and Joseph, the day will not be hurried. Their lives turn ever more expectantly to the one who is to come. I remember the long weeks of waiting for the death of my dad, being there in the hospital, the turning of my attention from whatever else was happening in my life, the growing awareness in the waiting of what the relationship meant to me, the person that I was seeing in new light through that attention. Waiting can be joyful and expectant. Waiting can be painful. And looking more deeply into the rhythm of days, waiting belongs within our experience. We sometimes meet it as interruption to our agendas. But waiting is relational space, pregnant space, space where words that have been too deep to utter come to be. The short days, lack of light, and the loss of form we experience in this season of the year may make us more aware of what is unresolved in our life, the questions which as yet have no answer, the undefined, not wholly understood longings of the heart, the experience from which we are still reeling. In a world of speed, where the illusion of personal control over events is emphasized, our lack of answer or absence of resolution comes hard. Advent encourages us to hold our nerve, to seek, yet be willing to wait for what only time and gift can bring. Advent schools us in moving from anxious and frenetic activity to the stillness of attention and receptivity. There are those, of course, who wait for a living. We call them waiters. Whilst for many being a waiter is a short-term fill-in job, for others it's a proud profession. The waiter looks for what the diner needs, responding readily. Is this a parable about our waiting on God? Yes, in part. But it's also the story of the God who waits on us, seeking us out wherever and however we are, waiting attentively, humbly, without violence or any desire to impose, only needing our turning in need and longing. After all, Jesus will come to say, I come among you as one who serves. I will end with a poem of Edwina Gately on waiting, ours and God's. I need simply and only to wait upon God without expectation and God, all longing, resting in me, will breathe in me the music of my soul.